Yo, Soul Tribe, gather at the fireplace. I don't have a lighter with me today. I'm sorry that I'm forgetting my lighter. My crystal just fell. Okay, wait a minute. There we go. So, today I want to talk about the basics of the Matrix, what it is, and how you can understand the whole thing. So, what is the Matrix? There is a movie that is called The Matrix, which is more of a documentary, if you ask me. So, The Matrix is some sort of prison that you can't feel, that you can't touch, that you can't smell, and that you can't perceive in its borders because it's too big. So imagine it like that. Imagine that you're seeing a huge fence, and there are some cows in it, okay? The cows know that they're inside a fence, okay? But when you create a bigger fence, even wider, even wider spread, so that they can't see, then they think they're free. And when they think they're free, produce more goods, produce more milk, stuff like that. So, same thing is true for this world in some ways. You get born into this world, and maybe you have a different feeling about this whole place. Okay, I'm not alone with this. You're probably feeling the same if you're watching this right now. You feel there's something off. And let me explain it to you like this. You're born into this world, and at the day you're 6 or 7, you go into school. And then, after school, when you have good grades, you get a job. And if not, you go to school more and more and more. You get to an adult school, like a university or stuff like that. And then, at some point, you go to work. You work for others. You work for the state, you work for others, and at last, you work for yourself. But how was it back then? Back then, back in the times, it was like this. You have gone into the woods, into the forest, built yourself a little hut, and lived there. And the knowings that you don't own the land, that you just are presented it as a gift for a short amount of time. And that short amount of time is the time that you're living. After you die, everything gets back to normal, and there will be another person to step in that house, or it gets normal. Everything is being made plain again, and there's built something new in that place. But today, it's like you can't even go somewhere and build yourself a hut, a place for yourself. You gotta always ask someone that you are allowed to do something. Are you allowed to build yourself a home? Are you allowed to drink water from that fountain? Maybe it belongs to someone. It's false to believe, by the way, that someone owns this water or someone owns this forest, because the forest is living. okay? And you can't own something that is living because it belongs to itself. It belongs to itself. So when you own, in quotation marks, a dog, you don't own the dog. It's just on paper that you own the dog, but the dog owns itself. Himself, okay? Or herself. So at some day, if the dog doesn't want to be around you, he just goes away because he or she owns himself or herself, okay? And the same with the forest. But the people don't see that because the forest can't speak. And people are greedy. People are greedy motherfuckers, and they want to own stuff that they can't really own. It will come back on them, but in this time, everything is owned by someone. So you can't go into the woods and build yourself a little hut in a place where no one has ever lived. Or no one is living right now. You can't do that because the forest belongs to someone. It is owned. And there's no place in the world where you can be and build your own stuff. Because it's all owned by one person or another person or a group of persons. It's all owned. The whole world is owned. And there's something messed up about that. So, if the whole world is owned and you're on someone's property, you're a guest and you don't have the rights that the host has. Okay? So, imagine this. If you're at someone's house, if you're a good person, you behave like a guest. The host has to decide if you're staying that night or not. But what if it isn't a house anymore, but it's a whole country or the whole world? People can decide whether you are not suited to stay overnight or not. Okay? So it's kind of messed up because, like I said, the world doesn't belong to anyone. So the Matrix is a form, is the belief that someone can own something and that you are owned by someone, okay? Shut up.